The Seahawks at 4-2. They've won 3 straight, and away we go from the Pacific Northwest. And he'll leave it in the end zone. Touchback to the 25, where it'll be 1st and 10. Ellington in motion on 1st and 10. Lamar Miller will take it into a thicket and gets out to about the 27-yard line. Down and 8. Look out. Coming through, Frank Clark, flag thrown, back to the 21. Here's McCauley.
Houston calls their first time out prior to the snap.
With a 2nd down and 8, Lamar Miller. Trying to get outside, and the underappreciated KJ Wright brings him down. 3rd and 6. Across the middle as Ellington has the 1st down. He's brought down by Thomas. He corkscrews his way up to the 42. He picks up 13 on 3rd and 6. It's a 1st down for the Texans. 2 tight ends, 1st and 10, Lamar Miller. Drilled right as he crosses the 40-yard line. Hit by a couple, including Wagner. Also hit by Bennett. Fake to Miller, who blocks Freeney, going deep. Oh, he's got Fuller! That is a touchdown! No flags, 59-yard strike.
Well, here's Will Fuller right here. They're just going to run a little crossing route, and then he's just going to go to the post off of play action. And play action gets it done. You look at Earl Thomas, he steps up, and once he steps up, he can't recover quickly enough for the speedy Will Fuller.
With the extra point here by Fairbairn. Will Fuller has caught 9 passes all season they have given up defensively this season. The ensuing kickoff. Lockett on the fly from the 5. Some nice blocking ahead. And then broken down on the play by Corey Moore. With a 17-yard return, there's a flag, 2 of them thrown.
Holding receiving team number 73. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Lacey in the backfield. 1st and 10. Right to work. Deflected. Almost picked off. And with a little run right here, J.D. McKissick picks up 3. Bowles is in the backfield. 3rd down and 6. Off the fingertips of Oben with the coverage on the play by Kareem Jackson.
That they've worked hard to address.
John Ryan is back to punt. And the guy that just caught that touchdown pass for the Texans, Will Fuller, is back from the 34-yard line. 4.6 on the hang. You can see his speed. One of the fastest recorded at the NFL Combine. And he takes the ball out with a nice tackle on the play, and that was made by the fullback, Trey Madden, an 11-yard return on a 55-yard punt. Giacomini with the block, and outside they go with another catch, this time on the fly. It is Hopkins. With a 27-yard catch, a flag across the way.
Decline. 1st down.
1st down and 10, Lamar Miller. Wrapped up, Wagner makes the stop. No gain in the play. They stay at the 29. It's 2nd down and 10, Watson. With time, incomplete, looking for Fuller. And the coverage by that rookie we talked about, Shaquille Griffin. 3rd and 10 coming up. Intercepted, picked off by Thomas. Earl Thomas with the foot race. Brown won't get him. That will be 6. No flags. Touchdown.
You zero in on the receiver and you don't feel a safety like Earl Thomas. DeAndre Hopkins said this is the best safety in football. He is reading the eyes of the quarterback the entire way. He knows where Deshaun Watson wants to throw the football. He's baited the young rookie into a huge mistake.
That extra point ties the game right there. The ensuing kickoff by the Seahawks in a tie game. And they'll bring it out right here, Chris Thompson. He's up to the 17-yard line, a return of 16 yards. Watson Read option. He'll hit the deck as he hits about the 24-yard line.
But the one thing I don't worry about is Deshaun Watson. He knows what to do and how to handle himself in a situation like this.
Fuller on 2nd down and 4. Wrapped up that time by Shaquille Griffin. Braxton Miller in motion. Lamar Miller will take it. And he will submarine up to about the 33-yard line.
That's what happens sometimes with an inexperienced player. They stare down that primary receiver.
Hopkins on 2nd down and 6 and brought down by Jeremy Lane, who's missed some time with the groin injury and a finger injury.
Back in Houston.
Watson on 1st and 10 with plenty of time and on the money and reeled in. Hopkins gets it.
A 2nd and even 3rd hitch.
Miller on 1st and 10. Stood up. Bobby Wagner, no surprise there with a gain of 2. Limits him there down to the 38-yard line. Red of Seattle. Jeremy Lane is the nickel. 2nd down and 7. Again the time, and again he's going deep in the double team. Fuller that time. Found some traffic downfield. There's a flag. Late flag thrown 15-yard line.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. Automatic
Jeremy Lane.
Well, he's missed a lot of practice time, Kevin. He's been dealing with that groin. Clearly, he grabs the speedy Will Fuller.
Lamar Miller, nice blocking ahead. Giacomini gave him 1. The fullback Frosch gives him 1. He's down near the 5. With a 1st and goal run right here, Miller slices into the end zone for a Texan touchdown.
Same one. You see the fullback Frosch. You see Miller. He's going to follow him right through the hole and into the end zone.
It's 14-7. The Seattle defense pick 6 by Earl Thomas. Moments ago, a 3-yard touchdown run by Miller. This is out of the end zone to the 25 and a touchback with the 1st and 10 for Russell Wilson. Your screen actually is in the slot as a receiver with the 1st and 10. Wilson underneath, and he's got
pretty solid there. There's a weakness right now. It's got to be the pass rush with the loss of J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless.
Lacey will take it in. Brought down by Hal after the previous play. Jonathan Joseph made that tackle. That's a gain of 2. 3rd down and 2. Looping it long. Oh, what a catch made by Lockett. He was working on Kareem Jackson. What a grab. 39-yard line of Houston. A 27-yard pickup. McKissick is in. 5 in the secondary. With the 1st and 10, here comes McKissick. Hit by a couple, including the rookie out of Vanderbilt, Zach Cunningham. 2nd down 7. McKissick was in. The sideline they go. Jonathan Joseph pushes out Lockett, who looks to be shy of the 1st down with a gain of 4.
This comes out early and throws the football around. The former college quarterback.
3rd and 2. A lot of traffic around the quarterback, and that was tipped, and Wilson got it out. As you can see, there's a Seahawk challenge, and Terry McCauley is conferring with New York. And wow. Clowney is saying with that play that there probably should be a fumble. The ball is knocked away. So the Seahawks are challenging that it was not a fumble, obviously.
Then you have to look at, was there a clear recovery of the football?
Right, exactly.
Sometimes that football will lay on the ground.
Well, Luke Wilson jumps on it right there, their tight end, and he got the ball.
After review, the quarterback fumbled the football and recovered by Seattle at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 Seattle. Seattle is not charged with a timeout.
Carroll, it is a 1st and 10. This is Eddie Lacy. Trying to pick and poke his way up there. Looked like Reeder, among others, jump on him. No gain on the play. They'll stay at the 20-yard line of the Houston Texans. 5 in the secondary with a 2nd down and 10 for Wilson. Here comes Carney. He was knocked off that time. Time for Wilson to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Richardson
in the end zone. And this is where Russell Wilson is so special and so unique.
Walsh will try to tie right here in a very entertaining first quarter. It's 14 apiece with 2:11 to play in the first.
Repetition is the mother of learning. He does it over and over again, Kevin, until he's got it down. And He's just so masterful in the pocket.
Chris Thompson, a rookie free agent out of Florida, will take it out of the end zone.
Some of the function as pocket passers.
Alfred Blue is in on 1st and 10 and wrapped up on the play by Reed as he spins his way for 4. He's up to the 29, and that was a nice next-gen look right there at the two quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson with a 2nd down and 6, and looking for Hopkins. Boy, he had to joust that time with Griffin. Nice play by the rookie. Brown with a block, and there he goes down. Hit hard on the play. Michael Bennett, the 2-time Pro Bowler.
Much for Watson.
Veteran Shane Leckler to punt. Lockett looks up into that. There goes a flag. Lockett looking up into that bright Pacific Northwest sun. Todman made the hit.
During the kick, unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team, number 14. Running out of bounds and not immediately returning. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
That's the gunner, Chris Thompson. Isaac is the running back. It's a 1st and 10 for Russell Wilson. Clowney is there to devour him about the 39-yard line with a loss of 3 on the play. Rawls is in as the running back. Scarlett trying to get by the right tackle. Got a hand on him. Hit again and incomplete. Good time here. Clowney was pushing the pocket. Look at the maneuverability of Wilson. And throws it. Heaves it. Downfield. Incomplete. Ryan to punt. Wow, they were flying in that time. Blue just about got that. Fuller gets the ball at the 20-yard line. And he'll be forced out of bounds. McDougal is the one there with an 11-yard return, a 41-yard punt, and a flag thrown at the 25-yard line.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 40. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Where Deshaun Watson throws the football.
New right guard is Mance. Allen is not in there. 1st and 10. And they go to the tight end, Steven Anderson. Rumbles out of bounds. There 1st and 10. Lamar Miller wrapped up that time nicely by Jones. Nazir Jones, a rookie out of North Carolina. 2nd and 12. Into the nickel. Has to get to the 37. Has the 1st down and then some.
The end and not take the unnecessary hit.
1st and 10. With some misdirection, incomplete. He was looking for Hopkins, and he had a linebacker right on him in a flag.
It was a late flag.
It was.
Pass interference. Defense number 50. Automatic 1st down.
Could have gone either way, and I think that's what Pete Carroll's asking
There's no
for.
foul for defensive pass interference.
There it is.
2nd down.
Running back along with Miller's 2nd down and 10. Lamar Miller. And stuck in there by Cam Chancellor. Down the block at the left tackle. Needs the 47 of Seattle. He goes to about the 48-yard line.
Confident Bill O'Brien is in his rookie quarterback.
4th and 1.
We got it.
Clark around the waist. It's a gain of 2. Given up this year. 8th play of the drive. 1st and 10. Good block by Brown, left tackle. Incomplete. Ellington crossing and linebackers defending like Bobby Wagner that time. With a 2nd down and 10, Deshaun Watson going deep to the side. What a catch! Hopkins grabs it. Sherman defending. The 22 and a 1st down. Miller. He'll dive in there.
He's got such poise and patience in the pocket.
2nd down 8. A lot of misdirection. Watson to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Sherman beaten by Will Fuller. His 2nd touchdown reception today.
He's going to come around and go back. I mean, there's a lot going on in the backfield before he even sets up to throw the football. You think it's going to be a screen, a little swing pass, and then he comes all the way back across the field and finds Will Fuller in the corner of the end zone. And Richard Sherman gets turned around.
Fuller has caught 11 passes this year for 7 touchdowns. That's an amazing number. They are 4-2. 2nd place in the NFC West. The ensuing kickoff left in the end zone, out of the end zone. Lockett.
That's right.
Lacey in the backfield. 1st and 10. Runs into his fullback and then is brought down by Kareem Jackson among others. 2nd down 16. Ifedi holding off the rush from the right side. Jackson tackle along with some help from Jonathan Joseph. McKissick. Wilson. McKissick. Pleasant makes the stop, rides him down. 1st and 10. With a tackle made at the bottom of the pile there by McKinney. 23rd in rush yardage. 2nd down and 8. Lacey with the block. Maneuvering niftily is Wilson. Heaving it deep. Caught! At the 10. Johnson was beaten, and what a catch made by McAvoy. Tanner McAvoy can go with the 7. Lacey is in there. Wilson. Touchdown. For the 2nd time today, receiver Paul Richardson.
He's going to work all the way across the goal line, but look at the stretch you get. You talk about a difficult throw. Moving to your left as a right-handed quarterback, he puts it right on the numbers and does it better than Russell Wilson.
Walsh to tie. 6:02 in the 2nd quarter. Wilson has handled the rush of the Texans. Watson has thrown a couple touchdown passes today. With the kickoff here, Chris Thompson will bring it out. And they bring him down. McAvoy. Wrapped up. What a nice play by Bennett. Shot right through. Watson. Shy of the 20. 3rd and 5. From the block at the left tackle again. Underneath and knocked away. Griffin may have gotten his hand in there as Ellington was trying to grab the ball. 58, 60 degrees right now. Shane Leckler. Flag thrown. McAvoy just about got it. Lockett at the 31. And then you see the welcoming party at about the 36 with a hang of 4.78 for Leckler. 51-yard punt.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 57. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's route around one another and really played some of their best football against the Seahawks.
Rawls, who runs very hard. He's up to the 24-yard line.
Throwing to his right or his left.
2nd down, 7. And Wilson's got to throw it away. There was all kinds of pressure. Lamar Houston, namely, coming through. He was signed when Whitney Merciless was injured. DBs falls in the backfield. Wilson with a 3rd and 7. Walloped as he threw, and it's incomplete, and Baldwin was downfield. They'll be in a tie for 1st place in the NFC West with the Rams, and they are idle. 1st and 10. Here comes Houston. And the slippery Wilson gets away and continues to throw it away. The best ones always do. A late hit there by Jackson.
Holding, offense number 76. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Protection of Fetty. No Diambo.
Houston wraps up Rawls. They need the 49. 2nd down and 21. Rawls was in. Outside they go. Lockett is there. And torn out of bounds by Marcus Williams.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 76. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. 3rd down.
Vrabel and his defensive group.
Rawls is in. 6 in the secondary. 3rd and 24. Underneath they go. Baldwin there and wrapped up nicely by Kareem Jackson. Seattle punting. Fuller is back. Eyes shaded by the overhang of the stadium, and a fair catch at the 14-yard line. He played in 2 consecutive national championship games at Clemson. Takes it himself here. Running outside. Nice read by Cam Chancellor, the 4-time Pro Bowler. 1 timeout remaining for Houston. 2nd down and 5. He maneuvers well, and he throws to Hopkins. 1st and 10, 1 timeout. Watson pocket crumbles. Wow. Whacked from behind, hit by a couple. Timeout for the Texans. And short they go. Nice catch there by Miller. For correcting me, Rich. 3rd and 7. Watson going deep, looking for Fuller, and that is way over his head and incomplete.
Franchise history, they've already scored 21 against a good Seattle defense here in the 1st half.
Leckler. Nicely placed. How about that punt? by the veteran Leckler, who's playing in his 245th game today. Sit on it here and take us to halftime. And one of the more talked about games coming into this weekend in the NFL, tied at 21.
Causing a lot of problems right now for both of these defenses.
Lockett will leave it in the end zone for Seattle. Lacy in the backfield with the 1st and 10. Stuck by Cunningham.
Bill O'Brien and how he's handled this situation.
Lacy was in on the 2nd and 9, and they go out to Richardson, who's wrapped up quickly by Kevin Johnson. Returns in the secondary. McKissick is the back. 3rd and 3. Moving up, escaping again. What a catch. How did he lasso that one? Beautiful catch by Baldwin.
The adjustment on that throw.
Here's a 1st and 10 run with the tackle of McKissick by Clowney. He's coming on the defensive line for the Texans. With a 2nd down and 7 right here. Lacy, no place to run, no place to hide. With a hand on his ankle was McKinney. Russell Wilson on 3rd down and 7. Moves up, needs the 45. And it goes tumbling down right there. Fuller is back to retrieve the John Ryan punt. Long snap was a bit off, as you saw. Thompson just about got a hand on it. And he's out of bounds inside the 20-yard line is Will Fuller. They've got Miller in the backfield with the 1st and 10 after the Seattle punt. Here he comes in with an elusive move, and on the move he's got Hopkins. It was chased out of bounds by Shaquille Griffin.
Throw the ball behind the receiver when you're moving to your right.
Underneath here he goes to Miller. He's chased by Wagner, and he gets by midfield and just into Seattle territory with a late flag to the 49, a gain of 8. To look at one of the best, Bobby Wagner.
Fouls on the defense. Ill-used hands to the face. Defense number 90. That penalty's declined.
Reed.
Personal foul, horse collar, tackle, defense number 54. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Leading tackler Wagner.
And once you get inside that shoulder pad area, they're going to throw the flag every time.
1st and 10, Alfred Blue. 2 of 3. Seahawks have won 3 straight. 2nd and 5. Here comes the pressure. Clark has got him. Another flag. Dave Foreman, the rookie out of Texas, in for the first time as a back. They need the 24.
We're even running for it.
He wants a block, and that's exactly what he got. Alfred Blue is the one by himself for 56 yards. Leading quarterback runner in the NFL. 1st and 10. Miller, big run, sheds him, and then Wagner finally brings him down with some help from Thomas in the secondary. It is a run of 10. Blue and Miller back there. 1st and 10. Watson buys time. And caught by Ellington, but on the chalk, incomplete, and Sherman was right there. 2nd down and 10. Miller Prush, the fullback, will lead the way to the 12. Then around his ankles, he finds Wilhoit in the flag.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the
Freeney. We've talked a lot about him today.
Goes up the move. Goes up against Brown. Watson, and a little high for the tight end, Griffin. Oh. 3rd and 20. This is Griffin underneath. And held by Sherman, and whacked by Wright, and picks up 10. Here he's trying a 31-yard field goal for the lead. Got it. And he has been perfect this year. 11 of 11. Each quarterback has thrown 2 touchdowns today. Fairbairn's kickoff. Lockett will bring it out. Nice open field tackle by Moore from the Pacific Northwest. Rawls in the backfield with the 1st and 10. Clowney is chasing. And the ball again whipped out of bounds. Incomplete. Wilson had hit 8 of his last 9. Rawls remains. With a 2nd down and 10. And down the middle, here they go. This is the fullback, Trey Madden. Wide open and being chased. Joseph from behind. How do you like that?
Play call at the right time.
Rawls is in, 1st and 10, Wilson. Nice slant. There's your guy. You wanted Graham? You got Graham.
Ball or fade ball against one of these corners or safeties.
2nd and 1, Rawls. Nice stick. Met by a handful, including Benardrick McKinney, a 2nd team part of the field. 3rd and 1. Rawls is in. Wilson, Rawls. 4th down. Here comes the field goal unit. Wow. 1-yard try and trying to tie it. We are tied at 24. 4.5 to go in the 3rd. 4th tie of the game. Subsequent kickoff by Walsh. Thompson taken off the practice squad a handful of weeks ago from the 3. Snap today. It is 1st and 10. Fake and Watson. He'll hit the deck. Wagner there to put on the brake.
Credit for winning the division in back-to-back years, playing multiple quarterbacks.
He dances by one defender, and it's intercepted again. This is Richard Sherman following blocks and down to the 16. Tackled by Martin, the center.
Well, Richard Sherman is so
number
good at not
76.
only covering his
Half
man,
minutes to the goal. 1st down.
Wilson, McKissick through his hands and incomplete. There was coverage there by the linebacker, Zach Cunningham. 2nd down and goal. Wilson to the end zone. And nobody home. 3rd and goal at the 8.
Kareem Jackson has held up well today.
After this is the goal. Automatic 1st down.
1st and goal. Nice play. Clowney comes up and wraps up Rawls at about the 9. Down and goal. Baldwin at about the 2. Jackson ushers him out of bounds. Gain of 7. Terry McCauley.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness. Go down.
Goal for 3. Wilson looking for Graham. Incomplete with the defense by Johnson. 21-yard try. Walsh for the lead. With 2:24 to play.
The guy, you don't always get that when you watch him play, but I was moved by his willingness to share with other players around the league. I thought that was unusual, Kevin. You know,
Alfred Blue. Nice run by the veteran out of LSU. And Blue again. Wagner around his ankles as they bring him down. Up until today, Alfred Blue had only carried the ball 4 times. Alfred Blue. His best season was back in 2015, just under 700 yards. There he picks up a couple, and Wagner once again. Giacomini the block. They come up from the middle, and with the stop, they bring him down. Outside Fuller, who gets a block from Ellington, and then brought down to the play by Sherman, picks up 5. Luckler will punt. High, it's a rocket. And Lockett, what great spin inside the 5. 9 points. Wilson marooned at his 4, 1st and 10. Rawls hit hard. Cunningham was there. 2nd down and 11. Wilson, Graham, tackled by Gilchrist. He's out to the 14-yard line with a gain of 10 on 2nd and 11.
as you see Graham come in to help out.
Rawls is in, gets the fake, and it's 1st and 10 for Wilson. We got a block from the other Wilson, Luke, and he throws it away.
Through the air.
2nd down and 10, Baldwin. Andre Hal wraps his arms around his waist to the 20, make it to the 19-yard line with a gain of 5. And Sherman played together at Stanford. 3rd and 5. With McKissick, and you saw the flag.
False start, offense number 3. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
What do you do, Rich? 3rd down and 10. Good block by Rawls. Knocked out Houston. Buys time for Wilson. And nobody home. Lockett was curling at the 43. The ball landed at the 38 on the other end of the field.
Couldn't tell whether or not Russell Wilson was going to scramble, so he decided to come back and help his buddy.
John Ryan to punt. Will Fuller is back. Flag is down. Another one, too.
There are 2 fouls on the receiving team. Holding, number 50. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 35. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Make you earn it in the fourth quarter.
Miller in the backfield, 1st and 10. Looking for Hopkins. He has beaten the rookie again. Griffin defending and makes the tackle. Watson 1st down and 10. Miller runs into Brown and trips over Brown. Losing a yard. Back to the 38. Over of 2011. 2nd down, 11. And caught at the 2-yard line. Another great catch by Fuller.
Is able to extend the play and find the receiver Wolf Fuller down the field. This one-on-one up top.
Watson was looking at it. Slides away again. Throws for a touchdown. Caught by Miller. 2-yard strike.
Hopkins, watch him get spun around right here. And then he has the wherewithal to tuck the ball away and not panic.
3rd touchdown pass today. Miller with his 2nd touchdown on the ground and through the air, and the extra point with the kickoff by Fairbairn. Lockett will leave it in the end zone. Wilson down the middle, dropped.
Just can't squeeze it.
2 tight ends. Rolls in the backfield. 2nd down, 10. Going deep. Oh, and he's got him. Lockett. Ushered out of bounds by Gilchrist. Big play right there by Seattle. 1st and 10. End around Lockett. Blocked by Graham. And brought down by Houston. 2nd down and 12. Wilson outside. Lockett for a 3rd straight time. Met there by Kareem Jackson. Rolls in, nickel secondary, 3rd and 8. Wilson, and caught. Richardson, he was working on Kevin Johnson. The catch to the 10, they got the 1st down. Rawls, held by Clowney. Caught for a touchdown. Richardson, flag is down. 2 of them back at the 15.
Personal foul, shot block, offense number 34. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's 2nd down and goal. Wilson to the end zone. Down goes Baldwin, and the flag will go on Jackson.
He's beat across his face. He just grabs.
Defense number 35. Automatic 1st down.
Lacey is in, the fake there to the end zone. Touchdown!
Just watch the eyes of the defender, and Graham sneaks out. They never field a tight end in the back of the end zone.
Extra point coming up here from Blair Walsh. It's 34-31. That's to come back in with the kickoff. They leave it 25-yard line.
He's been in this situation 100 times.
It's Lamar Miller trudging away for about 3. 2nd down, 7. Hopkins looking for a block. Giacomini gives it to him. He also got one from Martin, and there he goes. It's a foot race, and he is in for the lead. It's against Seattle, counted a 72-yard catch and run by DeAndre Hopkins.
Look at the blocks out in front. You see the right guard and tackle. You see the slot receiver, Bruce Ellington. And then this is what you want if you're a Texans fan. The football in DeAndre Hopkins' hands with a lot of green grass.
Fairbairn, it's in there. 4-point lead for Houston, 38-34 and 4:49 to go. It's volley back and forth. There's a penalty on the extra point. The kickoff well out of the back of the end zone. Winding up. Long pass for Baldwin. Oh! The defense was there. The coverage by Gilchrist. Walls in the backfield. 2nd down and 10. He gets away from Clowney. Chased by Reeder. And out of bounds he goes. 1st and 10 from the 36 and Wilson. Caught by the second-year player out of Ohio State, Van X.
Personal between Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson.
It's second down and 2. Wilson, the tight end, with the block, and Wilson, the quarterback, throws, and it's caught there. Reader chasing. Wilson escapes. Incomplete. Spins away again. Got away from Lamar Houston, who gets back up. Can't bring him down. He's got the first down. There goes Russell Wilson. Hand signal there by Russell Wilson, 1st and 10. Intercepted! Picked off by Marcus Williams. Big time pick. Timeouts, Texans, 2, 1st and 10 at the 8. Lamar Miller. Slowed down by Clark. Stoppage of the play.
They'll take one after this play, Kevin.
Second down and 6. It's the quarterback, Watson. And down he goes. Seattle with the inverted wishbone. Miller for a yard. Watson, Miller diving ahead to about the 26-yard line with a gain of 5. Watson, Miller, and he goes for about 2. Stay in Seattle. Back to the 9. Hang of 4-7. And nice special teams. Todman, the reserve running back, makes the stop at the 20. With Rawls in the backfield, 1st and 10 for Russell Wilson. Look at the time. Sidestepping and throwing. Richardson, what a catch! Beating Gilchrist, bouncing back up. He's down at the 33. Timeouts. 1st and 10, flag. False start, I believe.
False start, offense number 70. Please set the game clock to 1 minute 9 seconds. There will be a 10-second runoff, and then set the clock to 59 seconds.
Odiambo, 2 minutes, they run off 10 seconds. 1st and 15. Wilson again. And this time Rocket. 1st and 10. Rawls in the backfield. Wilson, caught, touchdown! Graham!
As a quarterback, the quickest way to the end zone is right down the middle of the field to the tight end. It's also directly in the vision of Russell Wilson.
Important extra point here, and Walsh sends it through. 3-point lead, 21 seconds to go.
I can feel it.
Kickoff. Thompson will let it fly over. 25-yard line, 1st and 10, 21 seconds to go. Houston with 2 timeouts. Watson. Frank Clark. Sheldon Richardson.
Let them complete the ball underneath.
4-man rush, 2nd down and 20.
There it is.
Going deep and intercepted by Sherman. Seattle's going to win it. 2nd interception today. 41-38 in a classic.